Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Shivashish, and I'll be your host for this insightful session today. The topic for today's webinar is streaming and OTT predictions for 2026. And before we get started with the main presentation, let me give you a very quick overview of Muvi. So, established in 2010 with a vision to disrupt the global streaming market, Muvi today offers a diverse range of streaming product portfolios that cater to businesses of all shapes and sizes. So, whether you are a small business or a large enterprise, our scalable and flexible product portfolio can adapt to all your streaming requirements. From comprehensive OTT platforms to fast channels, from on demand streaming to live streaming, and from deploying applications for more than 14 plus ecosystems, including TV and mobile ecosystems. Movie caters to all your video streaming requirements. Movie has a solution for all your streaming needs, and most importantly, all of it can be accomplished without you having to write a single line of code. And lastly, the best part, Movie also now has its own streaming focused AI engine. Our flagship product, Movie One, has been rated as the number one OTT platform on G2, a trusted software review platform. Additionally, Movie Live was also awarded as the best live streaming solution by the readers of the Streaming Media magazine. And quite recently, Movie has also been named in the Gartner's 2025 Market Guide for Video Streaming Services. Now, coming back to the topic for today, the streaming world is evolving faster than ever. So, from the rise of fast and hybrid monetization to the explosion of microdrama, microlearning, and AI-powered experiences, 2026 is set to redefine how users will consume content, and that will directly also impact how the content will be created and streamed for the audiences. So the entire process, right from the content being created to deliver to monetized, everything will change. And today's session will uncover the biggest trends that are going to shape the future of OTT and streaming across multiple industries such as media, education, sports, healthcare, fitness, and it will also help you to get a clear roadmap on how and where 2026 is headed in terms of streaming. To talk about this more in detail, I would like to welcome Gyanadipta Mohanty, who is a product marketing specialist at Movie and focuses on go to market strategy, content creation, and campaign messaging. With a passion for bridging technology and storytelling, he crafts marketing assets that simplify complex concepts and drive real business requirements. Welcome to the webinar, Gyanadipta.
Thank you, Shivashish. Thank you for the warm welcome.
And just before you get started, this is a quick request to the audience. You can keep posting questions in the Q&A box, and Gyandipta will answer all of it towards the end of this presentation. Over to you, Gyandipta.
Thank you. Let me share my screen once. Shivashish, can you confirm if my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible, Gyandipta. We can see.
Perfect. Cool. So thank you so much, Shivashish, for the warm welcome. And yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining in today. So before we start in, as you can see on my slide, I would like to basically start with one simple question, one simple assumption over here. Now, 2025, as you can see, basically optimized streaming for us. So we optimized quality, we optimized apps, we optimized delivery cost, completion, UX, etc. But please understand that optimization only works when the model itself is stable. So 2026 in that way will kind of reimagine streaming, not because platforms want to change, but because user like me and you, we have already changed. We have already changes there already for us. Now, people over here today don't just browse catalog the way they used to. We don't tolerate interruption any further. We don't wait for weekly engagement, and we also no further separate content from commerce. It's a whole habit, right? So the real question here over here remains very simple. The real question is, how do we stream data? Well, that's a whole question. The real question shifts from how do we stream better, which was in 25, to how do we engineer attention, participation, and revenue all together inside the viewing experience itself. Every prediction that I'm going to make currently, or I'll share today with you guys, will flow the same shift. So let's start from the most visible change, how monetization works or how it will work in 2026. Okay, so the revolution in 2026. Now, let's keep it very simple. What I'm trying to say over here. So in 2026, I'm trying to say that monetization is no longer about which model you choose, right? It's all about where your monetization lives today inside your experience. Does it live inside it or does it not? So our first biggest prediction over here would be very simple. That would be ad will stop interrupting. They'll start earning for you. So I was talking about monetization revolution, right? So our first prediction remains very simple. As I said, uh, ads will stop interrupting. They will start earning for you, right? So the traditional ad break over here is dying, not because ad doesn't work, it does, but because interruptions don't work anymore. So today we are basically seeing ads move inside the interface. So instead of pausing the video, which is going on your screen, the interface itself becomes quite clickable, actionable, and shoppable. One such great example of this prediction would be how current platforms are actually experimenting with ads that don't ask you to stop watching, rather, they let you send a product to your phone. So, what happens over here? The product is sent to your phone, you save it, and you act on it the moment. Now, here remember, the content continues, right? The ad earns. This is exactly when I say that ad will stop interrupting, they will start earning from you. Now, the second call out follows the first one. What is it? What it is? It talks about shoppable storytelling beating subscription. So, for people who are very well aware of the market, we do understand that subscription fatigue is very real, at least especially in developed markets. So this is exactly why and where we're seeing a shift. So it is actually shift away from pay to watch towards watch to buy. Now subscriptions are no longer the primary revenue engine. Please do understand. They are becoming a supporting layer over here. Now fast channels, free access, and ad supported discovery actually pulls in the user, while commerce, upgrades, and contextual purchase monetize the attention. The story itself becomes a storefront. Now, my third simple call out is one of my favorite call out. That is bundle will beat single subscription. This is basically bundles on steroids. This is the J curve. There was a point when we actually moved away from bundle, we rebundle everything, and now again we are back. So the reason why I'm calling this out, why bundle will outperform standalone subscription, is because imagine this. Canceling a single platform or canceling a single Netflix is very easy. Netflix is completely based on SWOT, completely based on subscription. But canceling a Netflix, which provides some perks, content, access, some other kinds of services, it is that difficult. So canceling bundle platforms becomes a pain for all of us. So in 2026, what I'm trying to say is retention doesn't come from more shows, obviously. It comes from the embedded value that you're adding to your platform. And the last call out, well, I think we all are seeing this happening, right? The microtransaction becoming normalized. Now, with the rise of micro contents, micro formats, micro learning, and microdrama, microtransaction will stop feeling the extra. They'll start feeling natural. So small payments, high frequency, almost invisible friction. So you're watching few episodes, then there's a moment, you unlock that moment, you access a feature, and you pay for it, right? So what does this tell us about the behavior? This tells us that when monetization aligns with engagements, users actually don't resist it. They participate in it. Users like you and me. So I want to end this up saying this, that monetization in 2026 isn't about choosing the right model. It is about engineering revenue into the flow of being itself. And once the monetization moves into the interface, which will happen in the future, something else has to change. And what that something is, that is how content is discovered. Now, before we move forward, since we talk about monetization revolution, I would just request Madhushmita to drop a poll over here. The first poll is itself talking about monetization and how you guys are seeing today. Now, please remember, there is no wrong or right question over here. Okay, I think it's a good point that you guys are understanding this. Great to see. So we'll end this poll. Now, I'll also share result with you guys if you guys want it. Uh, it's done. So, okay, I hope you guys can see it, the result over here. Okay. Now, we will move to our second tile, obviously. That is something very crucial. Discovery replaces catalogs. So, need to understand what I'm trying to say over here when I'm talking about discovery replacing catalogs. So, in 2026, basically, we are moving ahead. Discovery won't be there in your homepage. It will move away. Basically, it will go away from the homepage section over here. Now, how do we see that? How do we see that happening? It is because also in 2026, as I said, users won't browse platforms anymore. Platforms will browse users. Think about it. What is happening today? So, how do we actually browse content? Not by opening an app or scrolling categories, but through feeds, clips, recommendation, and movements. So you don't decide what to watch. You basically react what to place in front of you, what is placed in front of you. This is also due to how AI is being heavily embedded inside your streaming today. So AI isn't just about recommending titles anymore. It's just not confined to recommendation. It is also deciding which moment, in which order, for which user, and at what exact time the content should be delivered. So discovery moves from metadata like cast and genre to moment level signals like pauses, rewatches, skips, and reactions. Now you might be wondering that this guy rightly shown up over here and just saying that discovery will replace catalogs. Is it true? Will catalog break? Now to answer your question, yes, at some point of time, catalog will break. Why? Because menus assume intent, feeds respond to behavior. When attention is limited, watch time becomes the only currency that matters. So over here, I also like to call this out that yes, catalog will fail. It will at one point will fail, but search is not going anywhere. Search over here becomes secondary, right? So search doesn't disappear. It becomes a fallback. Only used when AI gets it wrong, not how discovery starts. So you need to understand, I need to remember this, that in 2026, discovery doesn't start on the homepage. It starts with your feed, your and my feed. With that, we will kind of move to our next slide, right? One of my favorite prediction that I want to call it over here. What is it? I would call this as kind of the clash of titans. Why? Because this is basically the TikTokification of streaming world. This is big streaming giants taking on TikTok. So when we say discovery starts with your and own feed, what we are claiming is doesn't start on your homepage anymore. It starts in the feed. We are kind of already seeing this across major streaming platforms. Social video is becoming the front door. How? Netflix has been recently experimenting a lot with short vertical video feeds inside its app, surfacing moments before users even browse a catalog. So if a movement hooks you, the full show is just one tap away. Even platforms like Disney and CNN are also moving towards the same behavior, using swappable scroll-based video to drive discovery inside the app. This tells us one important thing, very important thing. Discovery is no longer tailor-made or menu-driven. It is movement-led. So short vertical clips becomes the front door, pulling users into full-length viewing. And when discovery walks this way, promotion and watching becomes the same action. So in 2026, social video isn't a marketing layer. Social and short video isn't just a marketing layer. It is a front door to OTT. And you should think about having it inside your app. So no, it's okay. We'll move to the second slide, second prediction. So live stops being broadcast, it becomes participatory. When I say this, what does it mean? Basically means that live streaming is going through the same shift that content once went through earlier. Uh, One way live doesn't hold attention anymore. So if live doesn't invite action, it starts feeling like background noise, right? Just look at how life works today, whether it's sports, creator streams, events, or learning. Uh, Viewers aren't just watching, they're reacting, they're voting, they're influencing outcomes in real time. The moment people can participate, they stay. Now, what is actually changing over here? Now, this is actually where community becomes a part of the experience. The crowd reaction, the chat, the polls, the collective response, all this matter as much as the content itself. So life stops being something you consume, it becomes something you are inside in, right? And when everything such shift happens, such changes happens, there's also one change that also creates within the life format itself. That is monetization shift, right? So when participation drives attention, monetization shifts too. So value moves from minutes watched to action taken, and engagement does becomes monetizable. Now, I want you to remember this out that in 2026, live isn't about just broadcasting anymore. Watching will end and participation will begin, right? So that's one prediction to it. Uh, we'll move forward with our next prediction. Yes. So this prediction itself, it's like we know about it, but we are somehow waiting someone to call this out. We have been seeing this out quite recently. And it's nothing but the rise of microdrama and microlearning. So my prediction is very simple. I'm calling this out in a way that microdrama and microlearning are not just only formats, they're the new IP engines. Now, earlier, short format content was treated as a format. In 2026, it became an engine. So look at how people actually are consuming content today. Not in long sessions, but in daily bursts. This is exactly why we are saying that microdrama is going so fast. Can you imagine? They're gonna have microdrama format is going to have something around 10 to 26 billion revenue market by 2030. This is a solid proof how rapidly they are going up. The reason behind it, episodes are shorter because releases are more frequent and stories don't launch once, they extend daily. But you need to understand something very critical. What keeps people coming back isn't the episode length, it is the cliffhanger density. The same behavior shows up in learning as well, micro learning as well. So skills aren't built through long courses anymore. They're basically built through short, repeatable lessons that fit into daily work and life. So you are not trying to finish a content, you're building a habit. And in some way or another, AI kind of accelerates that shift. Creation cycle compress, output increases, and risk drops. That's why this work across industries, be it entertainment, be it education, be it healthcare, fitness, or enterprises. Just remember that short form doesn't engage, it compounds. That is one of the boldest prediction in 2026. With that, we'll also move to our next slide, our next prediction, next call out, which is nothing but infrastructure. How
Sorry to
particularly?
interrupt again, Gyana. The poll is ready in case you want to ask it.
Oh, great, great. We can do that then. Madhu, you can drop the poll in the chat itself.
Yeah, it's live.
Great. Okay, great to see that. I think great to see people are kind of agreeing. Good, cool. We can end the poll. Okay, so cool. We can move forward with our next call out. That is nothing but infrastructure. This is one of our easiest way to understand what is changing in 2026. It is nothing but the infrastructural shift, right? So in 2026, infrastructure will stop being the background plumbing. It becomes a moat. Now, when I say this, you need to understand every point that is being called out over here actually follows the prediction that we did earlier. The first one, low latency becoming non-negotiable. So low latency is almost non-negotiable when live is turning participatory, right? Polls, reaction, real-time influence, even a few seconds of delay will break immersion. So live can't feel live, the system can't keep up. This is a very crucial call out to remember. Low latency becoming non-negotiable. Second one, reliability beats future depth. Sounds literature, right? But it's not. Trust me, it's not. But because at scale, reliability beats feature depth. So in 2026, platforms don't fail because of missing features. They fail during traffic spikes, live events, and regional load. And that is the exact reason why things like multi-CDN delivery becomes very critical, right? When one route slows down or fails, traffic will shift and the stream stays live. The advantage isn't about more features, it's delivery. Doesn't work, doesn't break under pressure. The next one, uh, efficiency winning at global scale. What is new? We all know, right? Something is new. So efficiency is what makes global scale possible. Now we are already seeing the shift at the codec level. We have this AV1 being transferred to AV2, the new successor of AV1. This shows one thing very simple. The next generation pushes higher quality at lower bit rates. This basically means better reach, lower cost, and consistent experience across regions. The next one is security moving beyond DRM. Critical and important. Why? Because we just talked about one point that monetization will be living inside the viewing experience. It will be embedded inside the experiences. And when that happens, which will gonna happen in 2026, protection has to include playback control. It has to include leak tracing. It has to include enforcement. Without this, you cannot embed monetization inside your experience. And the last one, quite, we have heard it from a long time. That is AI becoming the operational backbone. So, AI is in a way everywhere, right? It it is everywhere. It does everything. So it becomes the operational backbone. It optimizes delivery path. It predicts the future, manage load, scale intelligently. Also, something which is critical, something which is new. It also plays a critical role in managing compliance as well. Compliance controlled by AI. So comprising everything, we can confidently say that it becomes the operational backbone. So do remember that in 2026, the real competitive advantage isn't features. It's actually infrastructure that performs consistently globally at scale. Now with that, I can now kind of move to my next presentation, which is very, very important for everyone over here in this meeting room. Why so? Because we're going to talk about very critical thing over here. We know and we acknowledge that streaming is global. But is strategy global? The answer is no. Strategy is still regional and it will remain regional. How do I say this? Very simple. So, what probably works in North America doesn't automatically work for you, right? Because in North America, fast and AVOD dominates discovery. Largely because, as I said, subscription fatigue is very real. Users are hitting limits on how many platforms they are willing to pay for, making free and ad supported discovery the entry point. So, in such matured markets, fast and AVOD actually becomes a journey. While if you move to Europe a bit, we'll find something very different. We'll find that content localization and subscription still dominates. The language, the culture relevance, and the public broadcasters shapes the viewing habits, which keeps kind of localized S-word strong in those markets. Now, if you slightly move to the biggest continent, that is Asia, this is one of my favorite parts. Why? Because Asia is very hard to predict. So in major parts of Asia, obviously short form and commerce driven or shoppable videos will dominate the way out. Video isn't just about entertainment in such markets. It's directly tied to shopping, creators, and everyday transaction. That's how I see it. But if you move to Gulf countries, the behavior changes slightly. Why it is? Because shoppable videos will truly dominate in those areas as well. But live experiences, especially live stream of sport events, becomes very critical in Gulf events. Live experiences plus content governance. It actually defines trust in Gulf countries. So low latency, live, mobile first access, and control over content rights are essential in such regions. Now, if we move to Latin America, I can say that mobile first viewing blends with growing CTV adoption in those regions. So phones will drive daily engagement while connected TVs will anchor long form viewing at home. If you move to Africa, we'll find bundles, teleco bundles. So in those regions, teleco-led distribution will be the real growth engine. Bundle access, career billing, and data-driven plans will reduce friction and will expand reach. So please understand that we're talking about the same technology, talking about the same platform, but very different playbooks. The winner in 2026 won't globalize one strategy. They'll actually localize execution without rebuilding everything. That's the part. With that, we will move to the next slide. Okay. What to do and what not to do. Very critical, very important point we should remember. What we should and what we should not, right? So, I can say this, I can kind of say this very confidently that the one that you're seeing on the left side of your screen is basically what you should follow for 2026. So build engagements, not libraries. Obviously, content addition is critical, but engagements is something which will define it, right? Embed monetization into the viewing flow. We just spoke about it. Monetization will reside inside the viewing experiences, right? So they don't expect, they will not, they won't be a separate part of it. Rather, they will lie in somewhere there. Also, people who want to win in 2026, you should not be, expecting users to browse catalogs. You need to treat feeds and movements as your front door, right? And you should also invest early in infrastructure. So live scales, delivery holds, and security doesn't break when demand spikes. Now, we spoke about what you should do. We should also be, quite focusing on what you should not, right? Now, what will stop working in 2026? Very simple. It's very simple. Assuming that great content will automatically will get discovered. That's a wrong approach, obviously. Relying on subscription alone, you can't do that. Honestly, you can't do. Subscription churns are very high. So you should not be relying on subscription alone. Designing workflows before proving engagement. also a critical point to remember, and applying one global strategy, very different regional behaviors. We just spoke about it, right? Streaming is global, strategy has to be regional. So do remember that 2026 isn't about doing more. It is about building one system that will adapt as behavior keeps changing. That's a critical thing. Uh, as we move forward, I would request Madhu to drop our next poll over here. Madhu, if you can please drop in. Yeah. So, as you can see my slide over here, talking about how movie keeps you 26 ready. Now, please don't treat this as a now product pitch over here, right? Consider this as a checklist that you should follow while you are going for the next transformation. What you should do, uh, what you should do when you are making yourself 26 ready. So in 2026, flexibility matters more than fixed models, right? So you don't get locked into one monetization approach, subscription, ads, fast and pay-per-view, microtransaction, all can actually coexist and evolve as a behavior change. So the next time you actually move forward with the next transformation, do ask this question as a checklist. Can I? Second would be, formats don't dead end either, right? So short formats can lead to long form to live, live to linear, and so on. And all this without rebuilding your platform every time strategy shifts. So discovery becomes automated over here, not manual, AI led, autoplay first, feed driven, because as we said, browsing doesn't scale. So do ask these questions. Can I scale without rebuilding my platform? Can I accommodate all these formats? Can my discovery becomes automated? At the same time, life should scale without surprises, right? Infrastructure should hold. Security should go beyond DRM. It should move more towards enforcement and control, right? So these are checklists. These are questions that you should actually ask. Is my platform ready for this? Now, as I said earlier, I don't want to make it a product pitch. I actually want to show you how your platform should look like in 2026. So if you're seeing my screen right over here, everything that you're seeing over here is actually a collection of features. You might think that, right? You're talking about features. Answer to that is no. It is not a collection of features. It is actually an operating system for streaming in 2026. Content, formats, monetization, discovery, analytics, all working together, all, not in silos, right? This is exactly what enables platform to adapt without rebuilding every time the behavior shifts. The goal over here isn't to build the future perfectly, it is actually to build a system that doesn't panic when the future changes. Do remember. Also, one important call out over here, please do remember that 2026 ready systems actually removes friction, doesn't add it, it removes friction. Yeah, that's it. And open for any questions and answers.
All right, Gyana, thank you so much for the presentation. Now we open the house for the Q&As that you may have. Okay, so I have a question that's coming from Vanshika Avasthi, and she's asking that we are seeing strong growth in short video form discovery, obviously, but long form engagement still drives the major revenue. So, how should platforms balance both without fragmenting the user experience?
Okay, you know, that's a good question. Thank you for asking it. So, you know, this is actually a real challenge that many platforms are facing, right? So, I would say the key shift is to stop treating short form and long form as separate products, right? So, short form content or short format should actually act as a discovery, and momentum. And long format should continue the depth and monetization layer. When both live on the same platform, they live in the same experience, they actually feed into each other instead of actually competing. So you reduce the fragmentation, you increase the lifetime engagement. Do understand that the mistake is isolating formats. You treating different formats differently. The real opportunity is to connect them.
Right. I hope this answers your question. The next question is coming from Karen. And what are your suggestions for organizations that are just starting to stream?
Okay, that's a good question. It's very generic step, right? So if you're just starting to stream, I would like you to focus on few critical aspects, few critical topics over here. The first one, as I said, focus bit heavily on the content as well as infrastructure. Content quality will ensure how people will actually look at your content, will actually perceive your platform, but your infrastructure will ensure how far your content grows, how far your content reaches the audience. At the same time, always don't shy away in experimenting, right? If you're starting your streaming business, look at the trends, look at how you can bring in discovery inside your own app. As I said, do not just limit yourself to the traditional OTT bundling or traditional OTT viewing. Bring in discovery inside your app in form of short vertical formats. Also focus a bit on AI, how AI can reshape discovery. So these are a few aspects which you should look up with if you're just starting the business.
Okay, so we have a question coming from Daud, and the question is, what is the best way to have classical shows like Opera House on a platform?
Best way to have classical shows. Okay. Uh, Honestly, there isn't a best way over here. I mean, to my concern, I don't think so. Uh, it depends upon the audience. Obviously, how you portray doesn't really matter a lot. Maybe you can tweak uh, it into short episodic format. Maybe you can think about discovering how people will find those classical shows, right? As I said, discovery. Maybe you should focus on those areas, but I don't think there's a best practice to stream those kind of particular content over there.
All right, I hope this answers your question. We have the next question that's coming from Emilia, and I guess it's probably a region specific question. So she wants to know that if I start in Philippines only, how much capital and monthly fee and all will it cost me?
Well, Amelia, that's a good question, but it depends upon a lot of factors, right? Even if you're only focused on regional, it also depends upon what factors you want to touch base. Are you focusing on quality? Are you focusing on just people watching your content, irrespective of the quality, irrespective of the infrastructure, irrespective of the vivid options that you provide, right? Are you considering integration, as I spoke about bundles? Are you considering only a streaming business or a bundle-led business? So capital depends upon the kind of thing that you want to provide in. Obviously, regional focus will cost you less as compared to if you want to, if you're willing to scale on a global scale, globally. But again, this is a segregated, thing, and there's no particular playbook to answer this. So it depends upon how and what areas you want to touch base first.
I hope this answers your question, Amelia. And you can also connect with our sales team, and they'll guide you in terms of pricing and how to set up platforms. So I guess this was okay. Another one coming. That's from Ankit, and he wants to know who will be, that's quite a common question, I must say. Who would be the real king in the AI era? Will it be content or technology?
Content is always king. That's a traditional approach. Cannot solely replace that, but content without AI will lose it. So if content is king, I would say AI is kingmaker in a way. So AI and content needs to go hand in hand. You cannot, bifurcate. You cannot segregate them.
All right, I hope this answers your question, Ankit. And this concludes our session for today. Thank you so much, Gyana, for taking out time and doing this for us. So, Movie keeps conducting these webinars on interesting industry topics as well as to showcase our best offerings. This information is about the next webinar. So, in the next webinar, we'll be introducing True Comply, our AI addition to our already existing movie solutions, and how you can use True Comply to scale your video journey with AI automation. So please mark the date. It's on 26th of Feb 2026, and you can find the registration links in the comments below. So thank you so much everyone for joining this, and I hope you all have a great day, and let's meet again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.